This week on Real Talk with Denver7 and CPR News. Centers that specialize in supporting those with autism are closing across the state. That's leaving families with fewer and fewer options when it comes to care.
So I have a 3.5-year-old son. He was diagnosed with autism, as well as my daughter who just turned 2.
We're seeing wait lists of 6 to 8 months or a year.
This week we have a real talk about autism care in Colorado, the challenges many providers and medical professionals face, as well as the other kinds of support that are needed.
Welcome to Real Talk with Denver7 and CPR News. I'm Colorado Public Radio's Nathan Heffel.
And I'm Denver7's Micah Smith. Each week in a partnership between Denver7 and CPR, we'll be having a real talk about issues impacting underrepresented people across Colorado.
This week, we're talking about autism support. Autism is defined by Oxford Dictionary as a neurodevelopmental condition of variable severity with lifelong effects that can be recognized from early childhood. And the reality is it presents in many different ways.
Oxford goes on to characterize autism as usually characterized by difficulties with social interaction and communication, and by restricted or repetitive patterns of thought and behavior. Now, according to the CDC, in 2020, 1 in 36 children were identified with autism spectrum disorder nationwide.
Yeah, many children with autism face unique challenges in certain environments, like school. That means parents sometimes send their kids to centers that specialize in providing certain care. But funding issues across the state have led to more of these centers closing, and workers say it can be hard to make a living taking care of those most in need.
10 providers have stopped specialized care services in Colorado, including Hope Ridge, who announced this summer it was ending services in the state because funding from the state hasn't kept up with rising costs.
Yeah. After this happened, Denver7 met Carmen Peak, a mom in Greeley whose 2 children attended Hope Ridge and were suddenly left with nowhere to go.
And here's part of her story.
So I have a 3.5-year-old son. He was diagnosed with autism, as well as my daughter who just turned 2. So something as little as responding to words like wait or stop, make us comfortable enough to let him play at a public park. Those are skills that kids need, to participate in school. It's emotional because those are skills that he needs.
Peak was excited for Ridge to start his second year in ABA and to get her younger daughter Jovi started too. But a couple weeks ago, she learned that wouldn't be an option.
We received an email saying that ABA services would be canceled. It was disappointing to hear.
The problem stems from funding through Colorado's Medicaid program, which Hope Ridge and other advocates say is no longer covering the costs to run ABA services.
We have not seen any real significant changes in the rates. So the rates that we pay providers have not really met up with cost of living or inflation.
Ken Wynn's the president of the Colorado Association for Behavior Analysis. He's been in talks with providers and state lawmakers to increase pay rates and cover services. But he says change isn't coming nearly fast enough.
This is a dire crisis in Colorado.
And yet another example of our healthcare system needs a major upgrade.
Yeah, dire crisis.
Dire crisis.
Those words you just don't hear those all the time.
You don't.
Yeah.
And we will hear more from Ken Wynn later in the show, but first, we want to get more perspective. Carmen Peak is joining us now to provide just that. Again, her 2 children are living with autism. Carmen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
First, would you mind us sharing a little bit about your kids? Help us understand what life is like for them and some of the challenges that they face on a daily basis.
Yeah, for sure. They're happy kiddos. They love reading and writing and learning. They both struggle with language and coping with emotional skills in that matter. So it's difficult for sure. Highs and lows every day. We just kind of take it minute by minute.
And Hope Ridge was that place you could send your kids where you felt that they were safe, they were being educated and had the tools and skills they needed to be successful kids, right?
For sure, yes. We loved Hope Ridge so much and trusted the staff, and my son was excited to go there every single day. He never had one hard day. He just wanted to go and learn, and they really just had the tools that he needed to succeed.
So when it closed and when you heard that message, what went through your mind?
just we were so disappointed and so heartbroken. At that point, my son had been there for a year, so we saw the immense growth from ABA, and my daughter was actually continued to be on the wait list up until the closing, so she never received a day of services. She was on the wait list for about 9 months, so we were just heartbroken to know that my daughter wouldn't receive those same services from Hope Bridge as well.
Yeah.
That's devastating. Since then, have you been able to find a new place for your kids?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of hoops to jump through to get going, and we had some in-home ABA services lined up for both of our kids, which was amazing. Because of their younger age and intensive needs, we just needed a center base. So we're hoping to start in January, but definitely in a little bit of a lapse right now for therapy, which is difficult for sure for both of my kids.
Yeah.
And what could that lapse mean?
It means a halt in development, regression. My son has had a lot of regression and aggression because of this.
This is emotional for you.
It's hard to see him struggle every day. And my daughter is, she's nonverbal, so that's also extremely hard.
And I just imagine the day-to-day aspect of saying, you used to go to this place,
Yeah.
you can't go there
Yeah.
anymore.
It's actually, we'll drive by and he's like, Hope Bridge, like he doesn't want to go, you know. So that's hard for sure.
And I'm assuming that's been one of the hardest parts of this process. Are there other things that you're just like, oh my gosh, I had no idea this was going to be so tough?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I just feel like parents are not being heard. And so it's super frustrating. And I think that's the hardest part, along with like my kids' daily struggle, you know, the frustrations and that kind of thing. But for, you know, the most important part, I just want to be heard for sure.
Yeah.
Carmen, I do want to talk a little bit about the activities at Hope Bridge that were really helpful to your children. Would you mind giving us a few examples of those activities and exercises that really worked?
Yeah, of course. My son actually loves reading more than anything, and so they use a lot of like visual aids and things like that. So a lot of pictures, and they have a big gym where they can, you know, incorporate some like games like tag, or one of the big safety programs that they did first for my son was teaching him to stop, you know, because that's a safety concern. And so when he's not stopping, when we ask him to stop, you know, there's traffic, and in a public area that can be scary, and so they would make a game out of it, and within 2 months of ABA he learned to stop when he heard the word stop, and it was huge for us.
Wow.
That is huge. Think of it as a game, but it's
Yeah.
really a safety thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say to other families going through this? Have you met with other families going through this?
Yes. I know a bunch of other families personally that are going through the same thing, and other families that I don't know but are going through the same thing. Just don't give up. I mean, this is so important, and early intervention for these kids is so important, and I just want our voices to be heard. So just to continue to spread awareness and share their stories.
Carmen Peak, thank you so much for sharing your story and for giving hope and letting parents know that now's not the time to give up. Keep
Yes.
pushing forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, the struggle to find care is only getting harder for families, leaving them with more questions than answers.
Coming up, we're talking to an expert about why providers are leaving the state and potential solutions to keep them here. This is Real Talk with Denver7 and CPR News.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Denver7 and CPR News. I'm Denver7's Micah Smith.
And I'm Colorado Public Radio's Nathan Heffel. Today we've been talking about autism care in Colorado and how many facilities that specialize in caring for children with autism have left the state.
In 2004, Colorado had 80 specialized programs known as facility schools. As of May, there were only 30, and they have to serve roughly 4,000 to 5,000 children every year.
Now, experts are left finding ways to get these providers back, as well as supporting existing centers so these children can get the care they deserve. And one of these experts is Ken Wynn, founder of Advanced Behavioral Resources. Ken, thanks so much for being here today. First, tell us about yourself and your organization.
So my organization is, I mostly work with individuals with challenging behaviors, but I'm also president of the Colorado Association for Behavior Analysis. So I'm here kind of in both those dual roles.
Yeah. And a little bit more about what you do. Give us your background in this topic in terms of autism and children with autism.
So I've been doing this over 40 years in multiple states. I came to Colorado because I was recruited to come out here and saw that this was a great place to work, great place to provide services. Since that time, we saw an emergence of providers, and then we started seeing a decrease in providers. So, as the president of Colorado Association for Behavior Analysis, we're a member organization. We have about 400 members. And we're also a strong advocacy. So when we saw this trend over 2 years ago, we jumped in, tried to work with government agencies, provider agencies to see what we could do to stem that tide.
Yeah, we understand another provider left the state recently. How big of a concern is this?
It's a concern because it's a dangerous trend. We're not seeing an increase. We're seeing an increase in capacity, people that adequacy. So that's been our biggest issue, is network adequacy. Are there enough providers to handle the need? As you guys said, 1 in 36. That is in continuing increase. When the CDC comes out in 24, that we're probably going to see higher prevalence rates.
Yeah.
So the issue is we're seeing more people in need and less providers that can meet that need.
Right, and at the center of this issue, it appears to be the state's Medicaid program. Can you talk a little bit about that and how many providers say the state's reimbursement rates are low and restrictive? Can you explain why that is?
Yeah, it's a really complicated issue. In fact, we've had economic analysis over this. The bottom line is that in 2017 is when the EPSDT took over, and that's when we moved from behavioral services from the Medicaid waivers to Medicaid under what's called EPSDT, or early periodic screening, diagnostic, and treatment. So it's a state plan. Actually, it's a federal plan that the state manages. So that we had rates that were lower. They actually lowered the rates from what the Medicaid rates in the Medicaid waiver to the Medicaid under EPSDT.
Yeah.
Then in 2019, we saw an increase, and they took that back. So since the program has been in existence since 2017, there's only been a 6% increase in reimbursement rates for providers. So our cost of living, our inflation has much exceeded that.
Yeah.
So we're running backwards. The cost of services can increase, and the cost of reimbursement decreases.
Wow.
So more people needing the service. There are providers who are not getting the payment that they need, and they're leaving. They're like, we just can't do work here.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I mean, there are three basic areas that are of concern. The rates are a huge concern, but to add insult to injury, we also don't have the same codes for service provision that other states do. So, for example, we don't allow for group training or parent training code. We do group training, but parent training. So there's no parent training codes, even though we're required to provide parent training. So one of the issues is providers are not only getting poor reimbursement rates, but they're asked to provide services for which they're not going to get reimbursed.
Got it. And you mean codes being like you would type that in and be like the insurance will...
Yeah, they're Medicaid codes.
Got it. Okay.
Reimbursement or insurance codes. The other thing is that we have, so it's a fee-for-service model. So you do the service and then you get reimbursed for it. You cross your fingers and hope that you do. So there are sometimes up to between 30% and 60% where they don't get reimbursed. Some providers are not getting reimbursed for the services they've already provided. They have to submit what's called a prior authorization request.
Yeah.
They submit that, then they get paid sometimes. So there's this arbitrary and capricious process where they're not getting paid for the services they've already provided. So it's kind of a perfect storm.
Sounds like a major discrepancy. I want to pivot a bit here to talk more about what we've referred to as ABA therapy, which is applied behavior analysis therapy. And this is not without its criticism, right? Could you address that criticism from the perspective of your organization?
Sure. It's a common misunderstanding about what is ABA. Part of it is that there are people that call themselves providers of ABA that are not. In Colorado, we are not licensed. So someone can go ahead and call themselves a provider of ABA, and there's little that we can do to say that you don't fall under the scope of confidence of what a behavior analysis really is. I'm a board certified behavior analyst. There's a board that oversees my services, and I have to follow their ethical code. But if I don't call myself that, if I call myself, let's say, an ABA specialist, then I don't fall under that purview. So there are some charlatans out there providing services calling ABA. But as many individuals with autism in particular that have reached adulthood, they have reflected back on some services that were less than ethical. The criticism is that we treat individuals like robots, that we're trying to create these kind of automatons instead of working with the individual. Well, from its very inception, applied behavior analysis has always been person-centered, compassionate, and humane. But because there have been people that have sort of bootlegged into that, there's been more and more criticism about the misuse of or the abuse of ABA. So there's a lot more, we've pivoted in this, there's a lot more interest in trauma-informed care, compassionate care, diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's a big push for our organization and for the field as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just going back to the funding issue, I know we only have a few seconds left here. Big question, little time, but what can be done to fix this in Colorado?
So we are working on that. The meeting recently with the Joint Budget Committee. I mean, so in the state of Colorado, there's an organization. It's a big acronym. It's called MPRAC, Medicaid Program Rate Review Advocacy Committee, that is statutorily required to submit recommendations to a Medicaid contractor here. They have been hugely supportive in changing the rates, the codes we talked about, as well as the process for review. So we are on, it's government, it's a slow process, but we are moving in the right direction. So right now we're reaching out to these providers and saying, just hold on. Next year with the budget, there should be some changes. Continue to advocate, continue to make this an issue, and I think it's important to have these kind of conversations.
Yeah, stay here, have patience. We're working on it.
It's going to get better.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, Ken Wynn. Well, even with all the changes in care for people with autism, there are still resources available for support.
And coming up, we're talking to a specialist on how to find those resources that best fit your family's needs. Welcome back to Real Talk with Denver7 and CPR News. I'm Colorado Public Radio's Nathan Heffel.
And I'm Denver7's Micah Smith. Today we're talking about support for those with autism. We heard about the needs of families with children with autism, as well as providers. And next, we'd like to explore ways to navigate various resources that are out there.
It is important to remember that autism is considered a spectrum because experts say it affects individuals in different ways and to varying degrees.
Yeah, so we have Maureen Welsh. You are the perfect guest to help us understand this better. And Maureen is the founder of Navigating Disability Colorado. Thank you so much for being with us today. So you are an educator.
Yes.
You're a mom, among many things. Tell us a bit about you, your family, and how you got into this work.
Yes, I have autism in my family on different levels, and most recently I have my 16-year-old son who has Down syndrome and autism, and I founded an organization called Navigating Disability Colorado, and we empower the community with information so that they can successfully advocate for services.
So what are some of the important things to keep in mind as we talk about this topic?
I think the most important thing to keep in mind is that individuals are unique and every person needs something different, and fair is that you get what you need. And I think that understanding a person better allows you to relate to them better, so that's why having that information is so critical.
Yeah, we've been talking about the issues with healthcare, specifically when it comes to people with autism throughout the show. What does Navigating Disability Colorado do to try to fill those gaps?
I think one of the biggest challenges in the disability community, especially the autism community, is isolation. There's a lot of loneliness. A lot of us lose friends because our children are different than their children. So connecting people, connection is really important. Feeling like you belong to a community, and then also getting the targeted information that you need, and that's what Navigating Disability Colorado does.
Yeah, and I have a very personal connection, just recent for me. My 42-year-old sister, she was just diagnosed with autism, and that's a lot of unpacking for my family to do. 42 years worth, right? You know, for years me and my sister were kind of estranged because we just didn't connect. And now coming to this realization that, oh, there's something going on there. How do families like mine, or maybe with an older person or an older family member who has autism, how do you navigate this confusion that is now front and center?
Well, I like to use the word discovered rather than diagnosed.
Okay.
Because discovering means that you understand someone better. You have a piece of information that lets you see into how they tick. So I really like to look at it from more of a social model than a medical, something's wrong with you and you're going to fix it. More embracing the individual and understanding them for who they really are.
Yeah.
I like the social model. Can you elaborate a little bit on the benefits of approaching it this way?
Yeah, I think a medical model is you fix something. There's something wrong, you broke your arm, you fix it. Autism is the way you're wired, it's part of you. Most people call themselves autistic. They don't say I have autism or that person suffers from autism. They're autistic because that's part of their essential being, just as being female or identifying with another culture or ethnicity. It is who you are because you see the world differently.
And so working within that realm, are there ways that people that are autistic can learn to deal with that?
Yeah, there's a lot of communities, there's a lot of workplaces that are specifically designed around people with autism, and that's really exciting to see. And that's what inclusion is about, is getting everyone what they need.
Can you give some examples of some communities or even therapies that have worked especially well that you've experienced?
Yeah, I think every person is individualized, so you can't really generalize about everyone, but I think that a multi-disciplinary approach is good, working with your school team, working with speech therapists, occupational therapists, behavior therapists, and deciding what works best for your, it's kind of a recipe, figuring out the ingredients that you need to get what your results are.
Yeah, and more so on the specifics. Give us something that's tangible that someone could say, I want to do this, I want to work on
Well,
this.
one thing you can do is you can look at services that are available through Medicaid, and that's how most people leverage services and therapies. And getting on Medicaid is something we do at Navigating Disability Colorado, as we help families do that, is how do we get on a Medicaid waiver to access services?
Yeah.
Earlier, we talked with Carmen, one of our guests, who was talking about a special therapy her son was going through involving tag in a game and teaching him how to stop, and how that was fun for him, but also translated to a safety mechanism. Do you have any examples in your family of something that's really worked in that way?
Sure. My son is very involved with Special Olympics, and Special Olympics is now integrated at the high school level, so we have typical students that play along with our students that have disabilities, and there's a lot of lessons both directions there. So participating in a team for him is the best way he learns. When he was younger, it was different, but there's ages and stages in life, and right now he really enjoys being with a peer group.
Yeah, I love that recipe analogy. It's so true, because you add a little bit here, add a little bit there. It's different, it's unique to each person, and that's such an interesting way to think about this entire process.
And it changes with your age and your stage and where you are in development.
Yeah.
You mentioned peer group too, and I remember you saying earlier isolation is a big part of this, so I love that he's been able to find a community. You've been able to find a community as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it brings me joy to serve our community, and I do hope that we can get the services that our community members need. And I know that our state legislature has a lot of difficult decisions to make, but I know that our leaders in the legislature want children in Colorado to thrive. I also know the governor loves his children, and he wants to see all children in Colorado get what they need. And I really hope that this issue is elevated and becomes a priority at the Capitol.
Hopefully our lawmakers are listening closely. We know they're fans of Real Talk, right?
It's true.
Maureen Welch, thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us. And that's this week's episode of Real Talk with Denver7 and CPR News. Every week, we'll be having a real talk on issues that impact Coloradans who are often overlooked.
You can find all of our shows on denver7.com/realtalk or at cpr.org/realtalk. Have a great day.